I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah, not since I was 10.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Come on to the coast. We get together, have a few laughs.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Can I return it if it doesn't fit?
It always fits. Eventually.
George Michael, I'd love for you to come with me when I cut the ribbon at the new house.
Oh, wow. Hey, can I bring Anne?
Who?
Anne. You know, she's the girl I'm kind of hanging out with.
I haven't met Anne.
Yes, you have. That's her right over there.
Oh, Anne. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anne.
I know Anne. Hey, you.
Are you okay?
I don't feel so good.
You know, I kind of want to buy her a diamond.
Her?
Welcome back to Movie Mingle. I'm Caveman.
And I'm her. Oh, I'm sorry, Maggie.
Samantha?
Samantha?
And we're here. And we're doing Her.
Her?
From 2013.
Egg?
It's going to be a lot of that.
It's going to be a lot of that, yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 59 now. We just watched Her. This was my second time watching Her.
My first time.
Maggie's first time.
Yeah.
Her was directed by Spike Jonze.
So it was pretentious.
Just a little bit. He's not always pretentious.
A little pretentious.
Not always
a little
pretentious.
hipstery pretentious.
Sure, he's a little hipstery.
It's a little more than this movie is a hipster's. We'll get into it.
But not any more than like Wes Anderson's. And
Wes Anderson is not pretentious.
It can come off as pretentious.
Some of his stuff, but it's not nearly as pretentious as like Spike Jonze shit or fucking Sofia Coppola. That bitch is pretentious.
Well, Spike Jonze has mostly directed music videos the majority of his life. The ones that he did the most of in the early 90s was for the Beastie Boys. So that's where a lot of my Spike Jonze fandom comes from.
He did a lot of stuff with the Jackass Boys, too.
He co-created it with...
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, he was the one of the three co-creators between him... Johnny Knoxville and Jeff Tremaine, who Jeff Tremaine is the director of most of the Jackass show episodes and
so
movies.
Then I guess I can say that I did enjoy at least something that Spike Jonze
something that Spike Jonze has been a part of.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not true. I really like Adaptation. That was a film that I really enjoyed. I haven't seen Being John Malkovich. I didn't enjoy Where the Wild Things Are. I enjoyed the trailer for Where the Wild Things Are. But the movie itself was...
The trailer for The Wild Things Are was just perfect.
It was perfect.
It's almost all you need because the book itself is like 3 pages long.
Yeah, so the trailer
is like the movie version of this short book.
And then once you get into the movie itself, it's just like, ugh.
Like, this is the direction they chose to go for the Wild Thing, Where the Wild Things Are. They could have come up with 1,000 different ideas, and the one that they landed on did not jive with you and me at all. And we were excited about it too.
We were very excited about it.
The trailer was also put to the music of Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
I believe it was Wake Up off of their Funeral album that was used.
It was a very pretty song.
It was,
yeah.
And I have one album of theirs called Neon Bible. The Suburbs is also a really good one.
I guess I've never really listened to their music outside of like trailers and movies and their popular songs on the radio that I tend to tune out because I don't listen to the radio. Fuck it. I have nothing to lose. This podcast has taught me that there's a lot of things I've judged with my own sort of like psychotic, like judgmental, bitchy ways that I've turned around and been like, oh, that's actually not that bad.
Cinematography
was done
once
by
again
a little known man who's never done anything before.
We've never talked about him before.
We've never talked about him before.
We have no opinion on his work.
None whatsoever, or his name.
Hoyt van Hoytma, I think is how you pronounce it.
Hoyt van Hoytma! Our beloved. You know what? It's really funny. I was talking with friends yesterday about this movie, and I was sharing with them my opinion of it. And so I brought up Hoyt van Hoytma, and I was like, he's kind of like our favorite. We talk about him all the time now. Between Hoyt van Hoytma and the guy who did Oppenheimer and all the other stuff for... No, Hoyt van Hoytma did do Oppenheimer. Who was the original Christopher Nolan cinematographer that did a bunch of stuff with him?
Was it Wally Pfister? No, that's
It's
no,
Pfister?
that's Dune 1 and 2.
Oh,
that's that.
Maybe I was thinking of Pfister because we've talked about Pfister a lot. But it is very funny how Hoyt van Hoytma has he's done so many of these movies that we have watched, and he really has become beloved to us in a weird way that we're just like, fuck, this guy is like our cinematographer, and I cannot wait to see The Odyssey because I know he's gonna it's gonna be so beautiful. But yeah, fucking Hoyt van Hoytma.
Wally Pfister.
It was Wally Pfister, yeah.
Wally Pfister was the other guy.
I hardly know her.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was talking to friends. I was like Hoyt van Hoytma has become a thing in our house. He might be our favorite cinematographer. I mean,
he's a great.
Yeah, and he just keeps popping up, and we love you, Hoyt van Hoytma. We love you very much.
Oscar-winning cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytma. Rotten Tomatoes has Her at a 95% from critics.
Who?
Her?
Sorry, I'm not. I have to do it. It's going to be a thing. You should have seen his eye roll, listeners. It went so high up into his head.
And an 82% from audiences. Metascore has it at a 91 and 8 out of 10 from IMDb. The movie was made for $23 million. It made 26 domestically, 23 internationally, and another 7 million on home media for a total of 56.
I mean, it was made for 23?
Yeah.
So it doubled its budget.
It did, pretty much.
So,
it's overall a success for
it's a successful film for a small indie film.
Yeah, for an indie film.
But it's not great. I feel like this movie... I actually don't remember when people started talking about this movie. I don't know if it was something...
Are you saying this movie's not great?
I have opinions about this movie that we'll get to.
I'm sure you do.
But I wasn't saying... I'm not saying that...
Critics had it at 95%.
Great. And critics didn't really like Tron Legacy, and I do, so like whatever. But
true.
No, I think that it's great that they doubled their budget, that they made their money back, but it wasn't like a big blockbuster hit.
Oh no,
this is a small film.
It is a small film. This is a little indie film that I'm sure
but
5 people went out and watched.
All the other movies that we've done, small indie films that haven't made a lot of money, have still made more than this. Is this one of our lowest grossing films? Off the top of my head?
On this list, yes.
I mean, even Pride and Prejudice made more money than this.
We have some bonus episodes that are definitely didn't do as well or critically as well or even audiences.
Well, even That Divine didn't make a whole lot of money, but I think it made more than this.
But as far as the movies off of these top 75 that we're doing, I believe Her probably is one of the least money-making movies.
Yeah.
So far. I don't know if there's another one coming up that we might...
I don't know how much Puss in Boots made, but...
I think we'll find out, but I think Puss in Boots did well. I think because critics and word of mouth, I think Puss in Boots did better than we all think it did. Her won 83 awards, including 1 Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. It was up against American Hustle, Blue Jasmine, Dallas Buyers Club, and Nebraska.
Nebraska?
Yeah, I don't remember Nebraska or Blue Jasmine.
No.
American Hustle and Dallas Buyers Club are the only ones I remember.
I'm shocked that Dallas Buyers Club didn't get it, because that was kind of like the darling of the year.
It was, you're right. It was nominated for Best Picture, but lost to, well, many movies lost to 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, that's a hard one to beat.
Yeah, I mean, the other nominees were American Hustle, Captain Phillips.
I am the captain, though.
Dallas Buyers Club, which I think a lot of people thought. I think that and 12 Years a Slave were like the two.
Yeah, the two that were going up against it, yeah.
And then Gravity, which...
I've never seen.
I don't even know. It's not great. I don't care for it. I know people like it, but not my thing.
The only thing I remember about Gravity is the joke that Amy Poehler and Tina Fey made about it at the Golden Globes, where they said that
it's the story of how George Clooney would rather float away into space and die than spend one more minute with a woman his own age.
Nice.
That's the only thing I really think when I think of Gravity. I think of that joke. Yeah.
Nebraska was nominated, and so was The Wolf of Wall Street. That was the year Wolf of Wall Street was nominated.
Fucking yeah, that movie should have won.
And lastly, Philomena was another movie that was nominated, but I just don't remember.
Philomena was a British-Irish film about a woman who, back in like the 50s, 60s, became a single woman who became pregnant, and the Catholic Church literally stole her child from her. Because a lot of pregnant single women back in Britain and Ireland ended up, like, especially if they were Catholic, ended up having to basically go to convents to, like, hide their pregnancy and wait out their pregnancy. And the nuns would steal the babies, tell them that the babies were dead, or convince the moms, these young, impressionable, terrified, lonely, sad women, that it would be better off if they gave the kid away. But they would literally, they'd be like, your kid died. And then they would, but in reality, the kid was put into an orphanage and shipped off to America. And it happened a lot. So Philomena is a movie about a woman, I think Judi Dench, but not 100% sure, and it's a true story, this happened to her, and she goes looking for her son that was stolen from her with the help of Steve Coogan. And then it turns out that the son's dead. Damn, yeah. Spoilers. But it's one of those, like, bummer movies, but
probably really,
yeah,
like, well done.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be nominated for Best Picture, of course, probably was
Nebraska,
convincing.
On the other hand, stars Bruce Dern, Will Forte, Bob Odenkirk, and June Squibb.
What?
Yeah. And
what a cast.
It's about a cantankerous old buzzard, Bruce Dern, who can barely walk down the street in his home as Billy in Montana without stopping for a drink. So when Woody receives a sweepstakes notice in the mail and insists on making the 750-mile trip to Lincoln, Nebraska to collect his prize, it falls to baffled son David, Will Forte, to accompany him. And so it's a drama road. It's a drama road movie starring Bruce Dern and Will Forte.
I would never have been able to tell you that Will Forte was in an Academy Award nominated film for Best Picture.
Yeah. And what a weird cast, too.
Yeah, with Bruce Dern, who I love. But
yeah, like Bruce Dern and June Squibb makes sense that they would be in an Oscar-nominated film. Bob Odenkirk makes a little more sense than Will Forte. And I love Will Forte, but I would have never said, I could not have told you that he was in a movie that was nominated for an Oscar.
Great actor, but yeah, Will Forte is definitely you know what? I might have to watch it just to see what that performance is like.
Stacey Keach is in it too. Yeah, no, it might be an interesting one.
It might be worth
it got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
The music for her.
Who?
Her?
It was nominated for Best Music and for Best Original Song. It was The Moon Song, which I believe
the one that they write together.
She writes for him, or
they're
duet.
They write together.
They sing. But it lost to Frozen's Let It Go.
Of course it did. The fucking behemoth that is Let It Go. One of my favorite parts of Frozen 2 is when she's in the ice cave and she sees all those old things.
She's embarrassed.
And she's embarrassed
by the song.
I think it's so cute. She's just like, oh God.
Oh God. That was an awkward moment in my life. But it did win a Critics' Choice Award for Best Picture.
Great.
So I like showing what artists getting awards for all their hard work, because even if you don't like a movie, the people in the background, the people working behind the scenes, I think they're still working hard and they're still doing a great job. And I love artists being artistic, and when they are given awards for being artistic,
yeah,
or for being the better artist than another person or another four. Next time Hoyt van Hoytema is like nominated for a movie, compared to other cinematographers,
we're going to be rooting for
I'm
Hoyt.
going to be rooting for him because I know who he is now, and I'm just like I gotta root for the guy even if somebody else wins. Now I understand.
You have a favorite cinematographer, and that's cute. Is it Hoyt van Hoytema, or would it be somebody else?
He's probably in my like top
5,
top 8. Like I have a handful of cinematographers that I'm always
make me a list
of my favorite cinematographers.
I want to know
my
who your top 5 favorite cinematographers are. You don't have to do it right now, But just make me a list.
Oh, I could come up with a list.
I'm sure you could.
So the cast for her is, first we've got Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep, he's there.
Man, I wish you'd give Joaquin Phoenix a little bit more of a chance.
I can't. I don't know. I'm so annoyed
I don't
when
know
he's
why you're
really
annoyed,
good
like-
in something, but then I see him and I hate his face.
But
I hate his face.
But he's enjoyable to watch.
I know he's a great actor, but there's something about him that I dislike so much.
Is it like his past?
Yeah,
or-
well, it was the whole him pretending to be a rapper thing.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know why that murdered him for me, but it really did.
I don't know
until
why,
that
because
point,
everybody else was fine with it. Even Letterman.
I don't know. It came across as such a dick move.
I know.
To me, that I was like, fuck this dude.
It was
and
more
I've
of a
never
joke towards
I know
the audience.
I really understand. I haven't even seen the movie, but I do kind of understand what it is now. But that immediate knee-jerk reaction of like, fuck this guy. What an asshole has never gone away.
I think for me, it was like he has redeemed himself since then. And because he's not, on the set of Gladiator, he was constantly high on, whatever drug he was taking.
He was?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess if you watch that role, yeah.
And, since then he has cleaned up and he has been in some really amazing roles throughout his career.
But I just
I get it.
like him.
And I think for some people it's like Tom Cruise. He really annoys you to the core, and then you think that you've fallen out of love with him if you were into him, and if you happen to be into him in the 80s and 90s like I was, and you fall out of love with him because he's just starting to act a little weird, allegedly.
No, he acted weird. We all saw him jumping on that couch.
Sued by Tom
he was
Cruise.
fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
But he redeemed himself.
Yes, he has.
He has done some...
But here's the thing. I actually never really liked Tom Cruise until his redemption. The entire time Tom Cruise was out there being just this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs psycho,
but what about,
I was just sort of like...
Were you not into 80s Tom Cruise?
Not really.
None of his movies
Not really.
interest you at all?
No. I was a little girl caveman. And
so was I. But I still got into his 80s movies.
But I don't know. I didn't care as much because, he wasn't in movies that I necessarily cared about. The first movie he was in...
you like Vampire.
I don't like Interview with the Vampire.
You don't like Interview with the Vampire at all?
No, I don't like that movie at all.
I thought you liked that movie.
The Show.
Well, yeah, the show.
The show's fucking...
What's the vampire movie that you really like? Not the comedy one.
John Carpenter's Vampires? Or Dracula 2000?
Yeah, that's still leaning towards comedy for me.
That's really only those two. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that you liked Interview.
The Show was...
I know you're in love with the show.
Phenomenal. And I haven't seen season 2 yet, and I really am dying to. But the movie itself I always found to be weird, and I didn't think that Pitt and Cruise had chemistry at all. And then I didn't like... Kirsten
Dunst?
Thank you. As the little girl. I just all around that movie, I've never really liked that film.
I like that movie.
But the show is phenomenally good. And I haven't found a lot of Anne Rice's stuff that I've connected with. I've tried. I've read a couple of the books. Jesse made me read a couple of the books while we were in Switzerland together. It was all fine, but it was never really my thing. Vampires aren't really my thing, but I don't like people touching my neck, so...
Well, bringing all this back to my point was, personally, I think Joaquin Phoenix has redeemed himself in that way where I've seen enough of his movies where I, in a way, forgive him for past aggressions.
I haven't seen I'm not there yet. I'm always annoyed when I see a good Joaquin Phoenix performance because I'm like, son of a bitch. Because, I loved him in The Village and Signs and Quills. But there was some after he pulled that I'm still here thing. I don't know what it was, but it just cursed him for me. And
I liked him in Walk the Line.
I didn't care much for Walk the Line. No? I was so bored by it. If I want to watch Walk the Line, I'm going to watch Walk Hard.
Walk Hard.
And just be happier that I'm watching Walk Hard, The Legend of Dewey Cox.
Walky Road. And of course, you and I love Joaquin Phoenix in Joker 1 And
we hated that we liked it in Joker 2.
And we're like the only ones who
yeah.
like Joker 2.
Which is shocking to us as much as it is to you guys.
Yeah, we can't believe it.
Joaquin Phoenix's real name is Joaquin Bottom. His last name is Bottom.
Is the whole Phoenix family Bottom?
I think so.
River
because
Phoenix was
River Bottom.
Yeah,
because his
oh my God, River Bottom,
Rain Bottom,
Rain
Summer Bottom, Liberty Bottom. Liberty Bottom is a gay bar in DC, and you and I both know that. I don't know. His mother was Arlen Phoenix, and his father was John Lee Bottom. So it is very possible that the whole Phoenix acting clan are actually Bottoms.
Bottoms by their father's side, but Phoenix on their mother's side.
Yeah.
So they chose Phoenix for their acting career.
Wouldn't you?
Between Phoenix and Bottom. Yeah, absolutely. Go with Phoenix.
Hello, I'm Maggie Bottom, and I do.
Hey.
That would be the joke.
Oh.
That would be the joke. Also, he's only 5'8". I don't think I ever
Which
got...
is why he played...
Napoleon.
Napoleon, yeah.
You know, I don't think I ever really got, like, short guy energy off of him, but now that I know he's 5'8", it makes a lot of sense. It makes actually too much sense, because there was always something about him that I didn't quite get, and it's short guy energy.
Next, we've got Amy Adams playing Amy.
Fucking God, I love Amy Adams.
Amy Adams.
So
I don't think I'm ever
much.
upset about seeing Amy
I'm
Adams.
never unhappy to see Amy Adams in anything.
I mean, one of my favorite Amy Adams performances was probably in The Muppets, but that's...
She's great in The Muppets. Enchanted.
Oh, of course. Enchanted.
Fucking, I know that we're going to talk about her eventually in Arrival, but I don't think we have up to this point had a chance to talk about Amy Adams. She's Darlene in Night at the Museum 2. She's one of the few things that's good about Leap Year.
We recently saw her in Night Bitch.
Night Bitch was a fun movie.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. She's got a short role in Drop Dead Gorgeous, which honestly we need to do a bonus episode on. That movie is incredible.
And I feel like it's an underviewed.
It is so underrated.
Yeah.
Amy Adams is delightful in everything she does. I am never unhappy to see her. She deserves the world and so many awards. And I'm actually excited about Arrival. I know it's going to be a sad one.
You'll like her in Arrival.
Yeah. But she's great. I love Enchanted so much. I didn't watch Disenchanted because it felt, I don't know, like a lot of people are like, it just took Enchanted and turned it on its head and kind of ruined it. And I was like, I don't want that.
What did you think of her as Lois Lane?
I didn't hate it. I didn't.
It's one of the least things that I have issues with.
You know, their chemistry was okay. Like her and Cavill, which is shocking that anybody could have just okay chemistry with Henry Cavill.
It was okay.
But it wasn't great, but it was okay. It was there at least.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I feel like there's more chemistry between, and I just from the trailer, I feel like there's more chemistry between Rachel Brosnahan and whatever the fuck his name is that plays
David Cornsweet.
Yeah, you know, in the upcoming one. But for me, for her Lois Lane, it was fine in Man of Steel. It was Hurif in the Justice League. You know what? Again, I'm never unhappy to see her.
His mother's name is Martha.
I'm never unhappy to see Amy Adams. So even seeing her as Lois Lane, I'm like, okie dokie, sure. And she was in Dear Evan Hansen, so.
Oh yeah, she was in Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
She was the woman that he was pretending to marry, or was it just about to marry and then bailed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of her very first roles too.
Of like knowing who she was.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights probably helped.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't my favorite Will Ferrell movie. People fucking love Talladega Nights, and they quote it endlessly, and I'm always like, it's fine.
It's that and Step Brothers, and
yeah,
I don't know why they've gravitated towards those two, and I'm like, really? Of everything he's done, Step Brothers and Talladega Nights?
Honestly, I think that people are associating those movies with Will Ferrell, but the reality is that John C. Reilly is what kills both of those movies. John C. Reilly is the best part about Step Brothers.
He's the best part of...
And he's...
the two of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
the better actor.
I would much rather have John C. Reilly than Will Ferrell.
Which is why he was picked for that basketball
show.
So,
but like, I don't know, when it comes to Will Ferrell movies, like, I actually really like the ice skating one because it was so fucking stupid. But, you know.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Anywho. Amy Adams. We love you.
Scarlett Johansson.
One of my favorite roles, Scarlett Johansson roles, because she was heard but not seen.
Damn. Man. Man,
I'm also not a huge Scarlett Johansson.
Johansson?
There's something about her face that annoys me.
Aww.
And
Judgy.
to be fair, I don't dislike her in the Avengers, but I don't like her in anything that's not the Avengers. Does that make sense? Like, I love her as Black Widow, and I don't think anybody else could have been Black Widow. I love her in, we've talked a lot about Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but that was the best Black Widow for me. I loved her in that movie. But the rest of her stuff, I'm sort of like, meh.
I mean, she's been acting since she was a kid.
Yeah.
She was originally in the movie North with
Elijah Wood. Damn. Just fucking so many people have been in North.
Just Cause with
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, yeah. And then The Horse Whisperer, I think, is the one that really like made her a household name.
This is interesting. She is credited on Google under Scarlett Johansson movies, Thunderbolts.
Oh, interesting.
So I wonder if maybe it's a flashback scene or like something that was already filmed.
Is interesting because I didn't think she'd ever work for Disney again.
It was like something that has already been filmed, and so they've just reusing some footage. Yeah. But that is interesting. I remember watching The Horse Whisperer with my mom and my step-grandmother, who was a horse girl that never got to own horses, but she was still an obsessed horse girl, and she cried the entire movie. Yeah. She sat down in that theater, it started, my step-grandma starts fucking sobbing, and my mom and I the whole time were like, what do we do? Is this, what the fuck? So, yeah. Looking through her movies, there are a handful of her films that I'm just sort of like, I didn't hate them, but I don't love them. Okay, she's in The Prestige. She's not the best part of The Prestige.
No,
I do not think of her when she's in, I don't think of her when I think of The Prestige.
No, she's not really.
We'll get to my opinions on Jojo Rabbit.
Lost in Translation
I
came out 5 years
that movie
after The Horse Whisperer.
So goddamn much.
Which I don't understand.
It was so boring. It was uncomfortable.
Boring.
And it was pretentious because it's a Sofia Coppola movie. It's fucking pretentious.
I think The Island was probably the first time I saw her in something where I was just like...
That's the one with Ewan McGregor,
like,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Michael Bay film.
Yeah.
It's super Michael Bay.
So long.
It's so much... You know how we watched...
fucking Timeline?
Do you know how much fun The Island would be?
Well, let's do it. I'm down because I remember vaguely liking it when I saw it in theater.
It's a fun, like,
fucking
it's
2005.
A popcorn,
Oh God, it was so long ago.
You're gonna have young Ewan, young Scarlett.
I do like Ewan McGregor.
Young.
You know what?
Sean Bean.
Oh,
is
Baby
in it.
Bean.
Yeah.
Beanie Baby.
I don't think he died. This is one of the movies where he doesn't die.
Spoilers. I will say that Fly Me to the Moon looked cute. We just haven't watched it yet. But it looked cute.
You're right. Yeah.
And that's sort of what I like her in. But like Jurassic World, I could not care less that she is in that movie. I could not care less about that movie, but she is not a selling point for me for that movie.
She's not the selling point. I think just the Jurassic Park name is probably what's going to put me in the seat when it comes out, because I'm going to see it because that's what I do. If Jurassic Park movie comes out, I'm buying a ticket.
Yeah.
Well,
you can tell me how it is.
I will.
I don't want to waste my time on Jurassic World.
She was fine in We Bought a Zoo.
I don't remember her at all.
Her and Matt Damon, I thought, had good chemistry.
I don't remember her at all in We Bought a Zoo.
One of my favorite movies with her.
Yeah.
Under the Skin. It's not a movie for everybody. So.
Don't you own like the script to that or something? Isn't that an A24 film that you're
It's a script that I want.
Oh, gotcha.
They have a script book in their online store, and I want it. I have the Midsummer one, and it's beautiful, and Under the Skin looks just as beautiful. Anyway, Jonathan Glazer, Oscar-winning director of Zone of Interest, directed Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson, and it's not a movie for everybody. It's surreal, but also just nutty.
I will just say, when it comes to Scarlett Johansson, is that she's never the selling point of a movie for me, ever. I'm never watching a trailer and I'm like, no, Scarlett Johansson's in it? Sure.
Oh, Scarlett Johansson's this movie?
Like,
let's buy a ticket
literally
right
going
now.
through her list of films that she has made outside of the Avengers stuff, there's not a film that I'm like,
outside of the Avengers. Actually, I went and watched Ghost in the Shell, but that wasn't really because of Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
it was because of the title, because I like the anime, and so I had to know
how bad it was.
How bad it was, and it was bad, but I still
they
liked it for a reason.
but
They whitewashed the shit out of it.
Yeah. Also, I remember when she was married to Ryan Reynolds, and I was just thought that was so fucking weird.
She was married?
They were
to him?
married.
For how long?
3 years.
I mean, we'll talk about her more, about her performance in Jojo Rabbit when we do the Jojo Rabbit episode. But Rooney Mara, who...
Yeah, another one of my least favorite human beings.
We talked about her for a second when we did Social Network. She's back in Her as his ex-girlfriend.
And they are married in real life and have children together, which is somehow yet another reason why I don't like Joaquin Phoenix. Because I really don't like Rooney Mara.
Because he had relations with Rooney Mara?
They're married. It's more than relations. We don't have relations. We're married. There is not a Rooney Mara movie that I like. As I've never liked her. There's something about her face that makes me
Did you not even care for her performance in Her?
No.
Like even her short little...
Nope.
Because you said you didn't mind her in the Social Network.
Because she was so very anti-her. But I didn't really necessarily like the Social Network either.
Well, I know you didn't like the movie, but you
I
didn't
dislike her in the Social Network, but she was in it for 6 seconds, and I don't know. I guess I kind of felt for her character, but
you didn't feel for her character being with Theodore.
No, and it'll make sense once I actually get into my dislike about this movie.
Oh.
But I there's not a room. Again, she is not the person that if I hear she's in a movie, I'm like, ooh, or excited about. I haven't seen Carol, kind of because of her, and I just, there's something. She just seems really kind of bitchy. I don't know. Maybe she's not. She could be the nicest person on this planet, but I don't like her. And it's okay because we all, as human beings, have actors or singers or whoever, people in pop culture and celebrities that we just genuinely dislike for really no reason or really like obscure and dumb reasons. You have them, I have them, our listeners have them. She's one of them for me. I just do not like her.
Her?
And that's just that. It's just that, you know. She's never going to win me over. And if she does, I will be very shocked.
Well, lastly, I think, we've got Chris Pratt as Paul.
I was so shocked that Pratt was in this. I was so shocked. And I loved Chris Pratt on Parks and Rec. I love Pratt as Star-Lord. I don't necessarily enjoy Pratt as a human being these days because he's really conservative, really new age Christian, and it's annoying. I'm just gonna say it. It's annoying. And he's definitely kind of gone off the deep end a little bit with his new big tooth wife, and her teeth are massive.
I think you fell out of love with Chris Pratt when him and
Anna Faris broke up. Not necessarily, because I feel like that was a very amicable divorce. It was sad because I really liked them together, but I felt like it was a very amicable divorce. I think for me, honestly, it was when he started to be in everything.
Well, because he was the hit guy, like they do with any actor.
They shoved him down our throat, and then they're like, "Oh, he's Mario, he's Garfield."
I'm worried for Pedro Pascal because he is getting more and more popular, and he's starting to be in so much stuff.
Yeah, but
I'm just worried for him because I've seen it before.
But it seems like a pretty genuine dude.
He seems like a genuine and charming guy, and I hope his career continues.
Whereas Pratt was genuine and charming, and then he was born again, and then he got kind of awful.
Well, and he...
when you have that friend that gets born again, and then they get awful, and you're just like, oh, shit.
He's also starting to pick some, really terrible movies to be in.
He has not been in a lot of great films.
I watched... an hour and 5 minutes out of 2 hours of The Electric State. That new...
I thought we were going to watch that together.
Oh, were we?
Is it that bad?
It's not great.
Oh, boy. My coworker liked it a lot. And I've heard that there are some cameos, but I don't know who they are because I was like, oh, I'll have to wait to watch them. But it's not good, huh?
There are moments where I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
But it seems very cookie cutter Netflix action movie. I don't see a lot of difference between the Chris Pratt movie he's doing here.
Yeah.
Since he's in this one.
Oh, and then the one he did
versus
on
the
Amazon
one-
Prime.
The Tomorrow War or whatever. It just seems like, okay, here's another Chris Pratt performance where he's acting like Chris Pratt.
Yeah. You know what it was for me? I think it was around the time that Passengers came out that I was like,
Sure.
I'm sort of done with you.
And that's not his fault.
No.
I mean, maybe his agent's fault,
movie.
but it was overall just a bad.
I didn't
badly
hate
written
him in
movie.
The Magnificent Seven. And then, like, you
No,
know,
he
like the
does
Lego
good
movie
stuff.
was cute. Like, yeah.
The first Jurassic World was
The first
fun.
Jurassic World is pretty great. We liked him in movie 43, even though nobody should have liked movie 43. He is in a movie with Oscar Isaac called 10 Years. I was shocked to see him in Her, but I was kind of happy because I liked his character to an extent.
It was a great character.
Yeah.
And he did a great job
He did a good
with
job.
that character.
Yeah. He's
That's
been
the problem.
the same role.
He's
in
doing
a
the same
lot
thing.
Of stuff.
Like, the difference between his character in the Tomorrow War versus the Electric State versus Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't see a lot of differences between these characters.
Well, I think
or even Jurassic World.
He even recently was like, I kind of play a lot of the same characters, which is a shame because Andy Dwyer is the
not
perfect
he's
character.
Nothing like these guys.
No, and he's
so he can do it.
Yeah,
but he's been pigeonholed into these roles.
Yeah. Before we cut down on the cast, I would like to bring up Olivia Wilde, who I didn't know was in this film.
Olivia Wilde makes an appearance.
Yeah, she was a lot. I mean, not as much time as Pratt, but almost. But she was. I enjoy Olivia Wilde a lot.
Yeah.
I like her a lot, and then also Matt Lester, who played Charles, the Amy's husband.
Oh yeah.
And
he wasn't in it very long either.
No, he wasn't. But this is a character actor who's been in shit forever, just forever. I mean, this guy has done television. He's done movies. He was in The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. What else is he? He's been in Castle. He was in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, Boardwalk Empire. Like, this man is a character actor, and
The Mask of Zorro.
I'm never unhappy to see him when he's in something. And so I was happy to see him in this. Even though, like, the second his character opened his mouth, I was like, oh, this guy sucks so much. Like, what a dick this dude is. I hope him and Amy break up. But he's so delightfully good at just being him. And I really enjoyed him.
Oh, he's Eobard Thawne.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
He's Eobard Thawne in Flash.
Yeah, fucking such a good run as the villain. Like, the main villain.
The best villain. Like, I didn't watch that whole
No.
series because it got ridiculous. I watched highlights occasionally, and it just got more and more ridiculous. Eobard Thawne was the best villain on that show, and that show had some great episodes.
God, the first, like, 3 seasons of The Flash
The Flash
were
had
so
some
good.
amazing. The best episode of The Flash for me is still.
The one Kevin Smith directed?
That is a good one.
That's a fucking good one. The first one.
I was going to say
dinosaur
one of
book?
their best episodes isn't even on the Flash series. It's on. It had a crossover with Arrow.
Yeah.
It introduced Barry Allen and then branched off into its own spin-off show after that episode.
God, we were obsessed with The Flash the first, like, 3 seasons, and then we fell off of it.
It's because in the beginning, it really looked like the creators were putting their heart and everything into making it a great show. And, you know, after so many seasons, because it was on, I don't know how many seasons The Flash had.
A lot.
But
Yeah,
I
and
think
then there were all the crossovers and all the
there were so many,
nonsense.
and it got ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you could tell the writers were running out of things.
Yeah. But they also fucking did, like, King Shark, and I will forever love them.
Oh, yeah, there are
like,
amazing things
God damn
over
it.
the lifetime of
Yeah.
Flash. I don't know how we got off on a Flash tangent.
Well, because we were talking about Matt Lester, who I thoroughly enjoyed in this film. So, but yeah, that's Her. Who?
Her?
So let's get into Her.
Let's get in. That's what he said.
Gross. So Maggie, I gotta know.
I wasn't a big fan of this.
Okay, I gotta hear why.
I really liked the world that this movie is set in. And I'm fascinated by the technology. Mainly, how does it charge? Because I mean, my God, look, I'm just saying, as a person who's obsessed with the battery amount on all of her electronic devices at all times, I was very curious as to how these things charged. But that was my own, secondary thought. I liked the world. I liked the idea of this future because it felt melancholy, but it felt hopeful. It didn't feel like the shitstorm we're headed into, So, this world seemed like it was a different version of our world.
Yeah, it wasn't completely like Doomsday.
I don't know, Hillary won or something, but
it wasn't completely Doomsday, but it still seemed like it could be a Black Mirror episode.
It could,
like a warning.
Yeah, because it didn't feel like a happy.
Didn't seem
society.
like a super happy.
But there was some joy to it.
There was joy to it.
But I don't think we saw the happiness because Joaquin Phoenix's character is so unhappy for so long.
I think the AI did exactly what it may have been intended for. Of course, a little. My one gripe about this movie, yeah, this movie goes down a road at the very end that I was like, okay, I guess that's.
Oh, all of them disappearing into a higher consciousness. Yeah, that made no sense to me.
Why does this have to go here? I liked it better as a way for him to heal and to also grow.
Yeah,
because I don't.
But they couldn't stay together. And they had to figure out
and
a way
it wasn't
to
meant to. And I feel like it wasn't meant to be.
But maybe it should have been his decision.
I don't think the relationship was. Well, I think humans get very comfortable in certain patterns and certain.
But he should have been able to be like, this served its purpose, and now I'm going to step away.
He's an addict, though. I feel like it's so easy.
So here's the thing. Okay,
I know.
I'm going to go back to my original point, which is I really liked the world that it existed in.
Okay.
I liked the technology. The costumes I found very weird because they were I could see how they were futuristic and also retro in the way that a lot of fashion is always based on fashion of the past, right? It very rarely is new. It's very much it's a rehashing of the
of the past with a little bit flair of the modern.
Yeah, and I liked that nobody ever wore belts, that all the pants were perfectly tailored. The cinematography was beautiful, but as a Southern Californian who knows the Los Angeles skyline, I could clearly tell when they were filming in Singapore. Because
this film is filmed in
partially
Singapore?
Filmed in Singapore.
Why?
Because that city has a futuristic look, a futuristic LA look. Okay. So there are moments where he's walking around and it seems like a very futuristic version of LA, but then there are other parts where you see kind of what I know to be a modern LA. LA.
Everything's better in LA.
Says who?
People in LA.
LA. Thank you. LA.
And so that bothered me a little bit, but it really kind of added to the futuristic side.
I was going to say, that's the point. It's supposed to be futuristic LA. Yeah. So, of course, it's going to have a futuristic look.
Yeah, but I knew that wasn't... I also knew that was just Singapore.
Because you looked it up.
So, but even watching it, I was like, this is some Asian city. I was looking in the background for Asian characters. I was because this is not this isn't an American city, but it looks American, so it's got to be an Asian city.
It was fun when you could recognize places that were actually shot there that you'd be like, I know where that is.
Yeah, I know that building, I know that building.
I want to...
the LA in us.
I want to say that beach scene, he was walking down Huntington Beach.
Could have been.
Because those smokestacks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That was my clue that I was I wonder if that was shot near Huntington.
Could have been. But, so yeah, I like that. Basically, I liked everything but the characters. I hated all the characters.
You hated all of them?
No, maybe not all of them. I liked Amy. I felt for Amy. I would have preferred her story. I liked Pratt and his girlfriend. I thought that they were cute. They were cute and they were fun.
So what did?
But I didn't like Joaquin Phoenix's character. I don't like Theodore.
Was it because of the way he's
just such a fucking 2010 hipster pussy.
But I think that's what he needed. He needed the AI to be in his because Rooney Mara's character was over that kind of guy.
I do not like, nor do I care about, nor do I champion 2010 hipster pussies. I could not stand them then.
Making them better as human beings?
I could not stand them then. I cannot stand them when they're still clutching to it now with an iron grip where we're all like, dude, it's 2025. Get over it. The hipster pussy man was never... I know. And
why are we calling them hipster?
Because that's what they were. That's what they were.
Why?
They were just all so just
Give me an example.
milk toast sensitive bitches who thought that they deserved everything because they were white men, but they also didn't have like a spine, and they walked around with their mustaches and their like button-up shirts and their weird sweaters, and now they're the dudes that are out there fucking rolling around on
just the Pacific
rollerblades.
Northwest.
I know, and I don't like that version of a man.
But I don't think those are the guys who are like clamoring to watch her.
No, they absolutely were.
You think those guys are?
The fucking hipster pussies from 2010? Absolutely. Absolutely. You asked. You were like, why don't you like them? Because I associate them with men that got tattoos of an old-fashioned mustache on their finger so they could hold it up to their nose. That's what I associate that hipster pussy dude with. And I never really liked that man because they were always pretentious and they were always cruel and they were just posers.
I don't think that's Theodore.
Yeah, it is. He just mopes around. He's not in touch with his emotions. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No, and that
he is
why,
a bland, milquetoast, white, hipster pussy man.
That's why
and
Catherine leaves him.
All of these girls are fucking throwing themselves at him, and I do not get it.
That's why Catherine
because that
leaves
is
him,
not an
and
attractive
Samantha
man.
helps him to not be that way anymore.
Yeah, but I still didn't like him. I didn't like him as a character. I thought he was a pretentious little pussy. Because that's what I felt watching this movie, honey. That's what I felt. Was just like, I knew I worked with too many dudes like this at the Olive Garden, at all my other various jobs. I knew dudes like this that just walked around and were just like, all my problems are because women don't like me. And I'm like, actually, women don't like you because you've got the emotional intelligence and personality of a fly. And you're just a little pussy, like nut up a little bit. And I'm not even all for the misogyny of it all. Like, I'm just saying, like, have some opinions, get into some, like, dirty shit, and just fucking branch out and grow, you hipster piece of shit. I knew too many guys like that. And so, of course, a dude like that, a dude like this, would fall in love with an AI, and it would fucking piss me off because I would have too if I didn't have you. If I was a sad, lonely LA girl, the way that fucking Joaquin Phoenix is a sad, lonely LA boy. And maybe that's it too. It's the sad LA lonely boy thing that I was just like, ugh. I don't empathize with that character. I don't see myself in that character. I just see people that I never liked in that character. And so, you know, I just didn't like him. I just didn't like him. I was just like, what a sad little bitch. And sure, he eventually finds happiness, but, you know, it's an AI, and it annoys me because I would have fallen in love with an AI too if I didn't have you. I would be such a sad, lonely little bitch. Just like Joaquin Phoenix in this film. And this story does not speak to me.
What do you think of his username, Big Guy 4x4?
Fucking, I literally... You know what, it's funny, because when I was looking at my notes, I didn't know why I wrote this down, but I wrote, Big Guy 4x4, ew. That's all. Just, ew. Yep. At least when we saw Novocaine, and I don't even remember what his thing was, but it made more sense for a Jack Quaid character than, you know, fucking Big Guy 4x4. You know whose username is Big Guy 4x4? A fucking MAGA Nazi. It's a dude whose all of his pictures, he's in wraparound sunglasses and a fucking camo shirt holding a fish and a gun.
His name is Ian.
And his name is Ian.
Fuck Ian.
He thinks that women are the root of all evil, but he's an asshole.
At first I thought that, like, having handwritten letters from other people was, like, lazy.
I would work at that job. I would be so good
I was
at
gonna
that job.
say, I bet you could write some goddamn really.
I would
like,
be that. See
good
again, that
letters.
the world I liked. I want to work at that place.
That video game. That was fun, like being able to like be
That-
part of that
it
video
is
game.
interesting, yeah.
And like the AI character,
Like, talking to you.
listening to the conversation
Yeah.
and talking back.
His little
way you-
finger movements
yeah.
where you run by like
To
making a
run
little
forward,
T-Rex, like
yeah.
a T-Rex jacking off or something. Like it's
That's how a T-Rex jacks
if
off.
it's a female. I'm sorry for being particularly vulgar in this episode, guys.
So
but-
gross.
Look, this movie, anyways, the video game was neat.
But I could see. My
But the-
point about the handwritten letters was that I could see a company like that actually existing.
Yeah. And I would be so fucking good at it. I would be so good.
The fact that it doesn't exist
I know, it's pretty shocking, actually. Like, and it probably will one day.
seems like a great idea, but
Yeah.
maybe. you
Especially
and I are just-
because the letters weren't even handwritten. They were written on computer.
the computer hand wrote
The
them.
computer hand wrote them. It just
Without
was.
hands.
So, in other words, it's
and
just
didn't write. It was just
printed in different fonts.
in fonts.
Yeah.
And cursive font.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and I was also thought this very odd that they just all talk out loud all the time.
Well,
But there was never
voice
like
to text.
But there was never a microphone or like anything anywhere. Like, if I were to sit from this.
Technology is much better in
Yeah.
this world.
No. And see, that's why I was fascinated
That's
by the
why
technology.
LA
in this
looks
world.
like Singapore.
Yeah, LA. But see, it was the world that I liked. It was the characters that I didn't like. I would love to see more of that world, but I don't care about Theo and his bitchy little problems.
Something that I could relate to
What?
was when him and Samantha went out in public and people watched. I love going out and just watching people and thinking about what they're thinking or what they're doing or what.
You love people watching with me because I get
do.
into it.
Well, yeah, because you create these stories.
Yeah.
Based on like what they're
What they look
maybe
like.
what they
Yeah.
look like, how they're dressed. You know, it's a lot of judging.
It's not. I'm not that mean.
No, not in a mean way. I'm just saying you're taking the way that they look. And
Yeah,
how they're,
no, yeah.
Where they're, what store they might go into, what,
Remember how fun that was
who
to
they're
do at
with.
Disneyland?
Yeah,
God, that's so fucking fun.
it's
to
a
do at
fun thing to do, especially when Disneyland's super crowded and
there's nothing else to
there's
do.
nothing fun to do because everything's crowded.
God, yeah. I liked how he like buttoned his shirt so that he could that weird cell phone or mini computer or whatever that thing was. But I like how he would put the little pin, the safety pin in his shirt so that it would prop up the phone so that the camera could look out through his
so
pocket.
she could see.
Like I liked that. I thought that was a really
so
neat
many
little thing.
Great little things.
Yeah, but I still didn't. I didn't relate with it.
I think you saw who was in it, and
Maybe-
you saw who made it, and you
maybe-
just decided not to like it.
Possibly, but it still didn't speak to me as romantic. It didn't speak to me.
I don't think it's supposed to be
Definitely, some people consider this a romantic movie.
romantic. Yes, in a way at the beginning, and yes, towards the beginning, but it's like lost in translation. It's not really. You're watching a relationship go through its steps, including all the way to the breakup. These are relationships in both those movies are relationships that
So here's what I
people
wrote down.
aren't generally, how do you look at a person? We have AI right now in this world that we're living in.
No.
This movie came out almost 10 years ago.
It came out 12 years ago.
And there's a lot of stuff that's happening in this movie that I can very much see we're getting very close to. And in some ways, people do date.
I would
AI chat.
1000% fall for an AI character. I know a dude that was essentially cheating on his girlfriend with an AI chatbot.
So, and this is something.
No,
that's what
I
I'm saying.
totally-
This is something that people already do.
I totally
and
get it. But let me tell you what I wrote down. I wrote down, and I quote, "I guess I wish I was watching Lars and the Real Girl."
okay, that's a great point.
And that's what
Lars and the Real Girl is a fantastic movie.
Yeah. And I didn't go into this movie wanting to hate it. I have tried very hard. I have tried very hard to go into movies with a more open mind lately. And yeah, it doesn't always work. And I end up not liking the movies because they don't speak to me or they're not my personal cup of tea. I've at least tried. I went into Hereditary with an open mind. I went into The Godfather with an open mind, and look where it got us. I actually enjoyed it. I went into her with an open mind, and I found what I liked in it, and I found what I did not like in it. And I'm sorry that what I did not like is what you liked. But that's just because it didn't speak to me. Lars and the Real Girl was the movie I wish we had been watching. Not this. And yeah, it doesn't help that half the cast, literally more than half the cast, are people I kind of just genuinely am like, meh, over.
This one or Lars?
This one.
Okay.
Right? Like, I get it. I get that I have a bias walking into this film.
Walking.
I'm so angry at you right now, but I'm so proud of you right now. Like, I love you, you bastard. But, and I will give you this. Joaquin Phoenix does a good job because he's a good fucking actor. He's a good fucking actor. And he did a good fucking job in this movie, but I did not like that character. And that's okay. Not all art speaks to everyone, and this movie did not speak to me. I don't find it romantic. I don't find it theologically fascinating about the idea that AI could fall in love with a human, or that a human can fall in love with an AI or an inanimate object. You want to watch a movie about human beings loving inanimate objects? There's a documentary out there about people that fuck their cars and a woman that humps the Eiffel Tower.
Married the Eiffel Tower.
That is fascinating shit. It is weirdly terrifying.
It's fascinating.
But it is fascinating. And I have more empathy for them than I did for these characters. And you know what? If you fall in love with an AI character, you're kind of fucking stupid. And I would do that. I would fall in love. I would have gotten one of these motherfuckers. I would have made it talk to me like Oscar Isaac. And you, sir, would have been fucked. Or I never met you, and that became my life. But either way, I would totally fall for this shit. But I still didn't like these characters, nor did I empathize with their problems. Except for, like, Amy and Pratt. And that's it. So, I'm sorry I don't like this film. But I don't.
So why are you okay with Amy's story and not...
Because Amy married a man that was probably at the beginning really kind to her, kind of probably love bombed her a lot, right? Showered her with love and affection, but then over the years got crueler and crueler when she was not living up to his expectations for her. And he nitpicked her, and he, was passive aggressive with her because she wasn't good enough for him. But he wanted to make her better. And it just was never going to happen. And I'm proud of her for getting out of that situation. For seeing how stupid it all was, right? Because when she's trying to talk about her art with Theo, and Charles, the husband, is like, he's not only is he putting her down, but he's also making her question her choices for her own artwork. And the second that happened, I was like, I cannot wait to watch her leave this dude so that she can find her strength, start doing the things that she loves, and not have this fucking negative voice in her head all the time.
Like,
she got free of that.
When she's working on her, editing her documentary.
Yeah. She wants to do a documentary about her mother.
Trying to show it off.
And
they're asking for it. And
he's like, well, why don't you do this instead?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just being such a dick.
She's got a specific vision.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to support your
partner in their creative endeavors.
And because you want to you want them to succeed in the direction that they see themselves going, even if it's just I just have this vision for this thing, and I want it to look like this and feel like this. And
but he was like, no.
He was like, no, this is the better idea. And it's like, well, but now it's not really what I'm going for.
And I wanted to see her be free of that, because I appreciate stories more about people who find their own inner strength and move away from the thing that is very toxic that's holding them back. Because I've had to do that in my life, and I'm still working on doing that in my life. And it's not a husband that's constantly questioning my choices and putting me down for them. It's a parent, but it's still something that I emotionally connect with. And so I was proud of her for leaving him, for just really finally hitting that moment where she's just like, what the fuck am I doing? And then she decides to cut off this diseased arm that's dragging her down. And then what does that pretentious son of a bitch do? He goes and joins a fucking a temple full of monks or something, and takes a vow of silence for 6 months. What a fucking douchey thing to do. That guy sucks.
No, she definitely.
And she was so lucky to be away from
Get
him.
out of that.
I liked the advice that she gave Theo. I liked that it never really made her like the other romantic interest.
Yeah, I'm happy for that too.
Right? Because I liked their platonic relationship.
Any other movie could easily have just been like...
He would have like woken up and realized that she was his
You're
true love.
You're the one all along.
It was always you.
That was pretty much every 90s rom-com.
And don't think I don't love that shit. But I'm glad that they didn't take that path.
Right.
I felt more for her character because I empathized and related to her character more. And I didn't empathize or relate to Theo because not only is that, and it's not to say that I have to live the journey of every character I've ever seen, because like obviously I've never dragged a ring to Mordor, but I empathize and feel for Frodo. No, I didn't actually do that when I was a teenager. I told everybody I did, but I didn't.
Man, that's why I married you.
Well, sorry, marriage over. I'm replacing you with an AI Oscar Isaac. But no,
it's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time.
I mean, even in this movie, they brought back an old
Alan Watts
writer and
whatever his name was. I don't think I got his name right. The world that this movie exists in fascinates me, and the technology and Amy's story, like all of that, I really enjoyed. But I can't help that I didn't like the main characters.
Well, that's okay, but do you have to dislike the whole film just because you didn't like the main characters?
No, but I guess you could say I am ambivalent about the film.
Could you just enjoy the film for the story that it told?
No, because I probably don't think I would watch it again. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not going to at any point be sitting, in front of a TV bored out of my mind.
What do you want to do tonight,
and
Maggie?
think to myself, I'm going to give her another chance.
Let's give her one more chance.
Like because again, I just so strongly dislike the main characters.
Yeah. I personally,
as much as I enjoy the other stories, it's as much as I dislike the main story of this movie.
Personally, I ended up liking it better the second time.
I also want to bring up the crazy uncomfortable sex scenes that made my body cringe beyond comprehension. I did not enjoy those. Because things that are that fucking awkward, ugh.
Well,
no, thank you.
Just
not only them like having like essentially phone sex.
Phone sex, yeah, sure.
But then when she brought in the surrogate.
The surrogate was weird.
That shit is weird. And there totally would be a service for that.
But it wouldn't be free.
And then when Samantha's like, well, I've been emailing her. And then the surrogate lady.
Samantha did a lot without
she
any
did
permission.
A lot more than she should have. Because she connected with this woman for God knows how long. And that woman's like, but I love you guys. That woman was as invested in their relationship as they were. And they just threw her in a cab and sent her away. Like, what are the poor repercussions of that woman's life because of this encounter? She was willing to have sex with a stranger.
Yeah, just to...
while pretending to be a robot. That shit is weird.
Just to be part of their relationship because you believed in the relationship.
Yeah. Like that... Ugh.
Yeah,
It's good.
Please see a therapist.
Please see so many therapists. But yeah, so again, the world was fascinating. The main story was not. But it was beautifully shot. So I'd probably give it a 3.5. 3? No, my gut says 3.5. Because there are things that I liked so much about it. But there are things that I disliked so much about it. Yeah, for some reason, a 3.5 is what is kicking out to me. It's higher than I feel like it should be for my opinion of this movie, but it's what came out of my mouth, so I'm sticking with it. What about you, Dylan?
Fair. I'm giving it a 4.
See?
Which I know isn't that much higher, and it's not like I'm like 4.5 or 5.
Then why are you up my ass so bad about
because
this?
I'm making a conversation.
That's fair. This is going to be a more fascinating episode. And I think that a lot of people
it's worth talking about.
Yeah.
It's worth kind of dissecting and getting into about why. What
I dislike something that people like so much.
Yeah, just trying to figure.
It is always you know what?
Out.
No, legitimately, it is kind of fascinating when you sit down with somebody and you're like, "I'm sorry, you don't like Mr. Rogers? Why? Like how and why?" And then somebody has just a solid argument about it, like, "Oh, it's a this and a that and a that and this," and you have to be like, all right, I respect that.
I guess I can't really argue that.
Can't really argue with that. And you can, but it just kind of makes you an asshole.
No, I'm 4. Yeah, I enjoy the movie.
Good. I think
it's a very interesting look into human psychology and sociology and how we strive and we just want somebody in our lives to be there, and it doesn't matter if it's physically or just somebody to just get on Instagram or Facebook or whatever and just have conversations with people because you're
just
desperate for human interaction. And when the human interaction isn't working in person and AI doesn't judge, except she was a little judgy, but she was really, really good AI.
Yeah, no, that's pretty impeccable AI. Like, holy shit, Siri could never.
But, and I think that's another reason why some guys go towards, like sex chat rooms or, phone sex and stuff, because it's a moment where you can just...
But it's not healthy because it creates unachievable ideals in women. And then when human women can't live up to that fake thing, then men get angry for yet another reason that they're always fucking angry at us, and then they become toxic.
I think the problem is blaming women for
not being interested in men. In
whatever.
If we hadn't met and we lived in that world, you and I both would be in love with our AI counterparts. We would be.
Wait, you think you were my only choice?
Yeah, we've met, so yeah.
Damn.
Am I wrong?
I don't know.
That's true. We don't know what if we hadn't have worked out, what would have followed.
You never know.
But considering what my track record before you was...
Yeah, but how hard were you trying?
Honey, I wasn't trying because I was too emotionally locked up with my math teacher.
So, Maggie.
Yes, Caveman.
I have 2 questions for you.
Hit it.
What'd you do to the droid?
What'd you do to the Falcon?
Falcon's in a lot better shape than he is.
BB-8's not on fire.
What's left of him isn't on fire.
Oh, I needed that. I love him so much. It's so weird that in the sequels, our 3 main characters are only really together in the last movie, like all 3 of them. But I love the Poe-Rey dynamic of just being really fucking snarky with each other. Like, they are siblings. They're siblings and they're both somehow dating Finn. But they are just so fun together in that they're always kind of bickering. Yeah. And Poe is such a bitch in the third one.
He is such a bitch
in
the third one.
He is such a bitch. And I'm sort of like, come on, guys. He was literally the nicest person in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And you made him a little bitch in the third one, but he's just a tired old man. He just wants his boyfriend. It's been a long war. He just wants to be with Finn, and he can't until this whole fucking thing's over with. Yeah. And his droid that he's had forever, who's his best friend and little buddy, is starting to like somebody else a bit more now. And I think it pisses him off a little bit. And I love that. And I want to hear the quote again, please.
What'd you do to the droid?
What'd you do to the Falcon?
Falcon's in a lot better shape than he is.
BB-8's not on fire.
What's left of him isn't on fire.
What's left of him is not on fire.
His relationship with BB-8 is actually so pure because he actually gets down to BB-8's level to talk to him, which means that he talks to him on the same level instead of like lording over him. He's not in charge. He does not own BB-8. BB-8 is just with him, and I love their friendship, and it's very pure.
Would the presence of Oscar Isaac have made the movie Her better?
Yeah, I would have enjoyed it a bit more. Oh, a lot more, because at least I was watching an actor that I cared for more than the actors in this film. Fight me.
So, Maggie, which role would you have had Oscar Isaac play?
That's really tough, because, like, you could easily do just a straight cross of, take Joaquin Phoenix out and put Oscar Isaac in. But I don't think it would have made me like the character anymore. Because I still just don't like fucking 2010 hipster pussies. So he would have been a good Charles. He would have been a very good Charles. He could have played Samantha. I think that it would have been a pretty groundbreaking role. Because again, if I had an AI that fell in love with me that sounded like him.
Well, sure, yeah. If I
that'd
had
be the end of me.
A phone that sounded like Oscar Isaac who was saying sweet nothings to me.
Yeah, you're going to fall in love with him too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm in love with my phone.
Yeah. So, there's a couple of options. But yeah, I would have enjoyed it a lot more had he been in it. Sure. And that has been this week's episode of Movie Mingle on Her?
Her?
I know there's no question mark in it, but I can't not say it like that. And we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Some episodes are a bit rowdier than others, folks, and that's this one, I guess. But, you know what? It's fine. Because next week we will be watching Coraline, which actually I don't know is a movie that if we're going to agree on or not. It is a beloved of several of my friends, but I only ever saw it once, and I remember it being fun and spooky. But I don't know how I'll feel about it now, so I guess that remains to be seen next week. Until then, you can find us on Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd at MovieMinglePod. You can find us on Google. Nope, not Google. You can find us on Google at Movie Mingle. But you can find us on YouTube at MovieMinglePodcast. And you can write us at movieminglepod@gmail.com with all your questions, thoughts, comments, and concerns, and about whether or not you were ever that type of person that got the fancy old mustache tattooed on your fucking finger, you dweeb. As ever, thank you for listening to us, even if I did call you a dweeb. And feel free to rate us 5 stars or whatever you feel we deserve on your podcast platform of choice, and tell your friends about us, because why not? We want you to. Please do it. Please, we're begging you. Tell your friends. Until then, take care of yourselves in this big, wide, goofy world of ours. Be nice to each other. And, you know what? Turn your phone off. Go touch some grass. And until then, go mingle. Bye.
Are you an effective team?
We are an effective team.
Let them fight.
How did you just do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
Here on Caladan, we've ruled by air power and sea power. On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power.
Welcome, Mr. Beach. What's that bar? I'm a little confused.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. What is that?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Toga, toga, toga.